إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. أما بعد، عباد الله, my dear brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يا أيها الناس قد جاءكم برهان من ربكم وأنزلنا إليكم نورا مبينا. O people, قد جاءكم برهان من ربكم. A burhan, a prophet, a messenger from your Lord was sent to you. وأنزلنا, and we have revealed upon you, to you. وأنزلنا إليكم نورا مبينا. We have revealed to you, O mankind, نورا مبينا. And that nur is the revelation. That nur is the book of Allah. That nur is the speech of Allah. Nuran mubinan is a mubin, is a clear, will make the life of the human clearer and nicer. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إن هذا القرآن يهدي للتي هي أقوم ويبشر المؤمنين. Surely the Quran guides mankind للتي هي أحسن, will guide you and the others to the best in this life, to the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted from you, O mankind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Alif Lam Ra, Kitabun anzalnahu ilayka. O Muhammad, a book we have revealed upon you. لِتُخْرِجَ النَّاسِ, to get people مِنَ الظُّلُمَاتِ إِلَى النُّورِ, to take the people from the darkness into the lightness. My dear brothers and sisters, these are some of the fada'il, the virtues of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because of this, Khabbab ibn al-Arat radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, one of the great companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, one day gave an advice to one of his students, or a person asked him a question, how can I come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He said to him, تقرب إلى الله ما استطعت. Try to come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as much as you can. Do all what you can do that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there is nothing that will bring you closer, and that action is more beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than the book, his speech, kalamullah. Be close to that book. Be closer to the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're making yourself closer to Allah, and you are pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My dear brothers and sisters, it is the book of Allah. It is the speech of Allah. It is al-huda, the guidance. It is an-nur, the light. It is the blessing, the barakah of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is a shifa, the cure. It is the rahmah, the mercy upon us. The one who read it is blessed. The one who memorized it is blessed. The one who's acting upon that is blessed. So try to read it, try to memorize it, and try to act upon this book. My dear brothers and sisters, I'm going to share with you a very light story. It might not be a fancy to you, but it's very, very, the story touched my heart. And because of this, I'm talking about this khutbah, that's about this topic. Yesterday, and after Asr, one of in our Quranic club, a child at the age of 13, with his sister at the age of 7, very young children, attends the madrasa, attends the club every day. Yesterday I got a call, he says that he is not going to come to the school or to the madrasa. Why? Not because the father hasn't got a car. The father is in a wheelchair, can't drive. The mother or the one who drops them into the school, the car has a flat tire and we cannot take him to school. The child, after a while I found him, he came late, but he came. And I said to him, why you are here? I know that you are not coming. He said, I don't want to miss the day. I came by bus. I don't want to miss the day. I came to the madrasa. I want to learn Quran. I want to read. Although he struggles in his reading, although he doesn't memorize much, but he wanted to attend the madrasa because he wants to learn. In this society, at this time of the life, of the technology and all this luxury that we have it amongst us, I found this child, he reminded me, he revived actually the action of the early ulama, the early scholars. He revived in this society, not a society where the society people are looking into the luxuries. And this young child, he revived that. He made a really very beautiful action. He came with his young sister by bus to attend the madrasa, to learn the Quran, my dear brothers and sisters. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless his mom and his dad, and bless all your children, bless all the mothers and fathers. My dear brothers and sisters, Ash-Shafi'i radiallahu ta'ala anhu and rahimahullah, when he was young, his dad passed away when he was in Gaza. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be for the people of Gaza. He died there, and his mom said, I can't look after you far away from your own family. Let us go back to our home. And he went back to Mecca. They traveled all the way from Gaza, went back, the little child, he went back to Gaza. So in order to fulfill the wish of the father that the son wants to learn the Quran and memorize the Quran, I cannot fulfill that in that society. But I can do it in that society. Where? In Mecca. And could not do it in Gaza because she's alone in there. No family to support her. They went all the way back into Mecca. She put him in a madrasa, as you're saying, and she put him in a kutab, and he started learning. There are times when the mother of a Shafi'i could not even pay the teacher, and the teacher used to allow him to come and sit and read. He was very eager. He wants to learn. This child in our society, he learned me. He reminded me of Imam Shafi'i. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him. To all fathers, to all the mothers, those who are very keen and worked hard to take their children, to send their children to teachers, to madrasas, to a place of knowledge, Islamic knowledge, whether in our masjid or anywhere else, to a privately or in collective lesson, I would like to send you this gift. I would like you to listen to this hadith. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, and it was narrated by Imam al-Hakim from the hadith of Burayd al-Aslami. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Man qara al-Quran, whoever read the Quran, reciting with the teacher, not memorizing. Man qara al-Quran wa ta'allamahu, and learned it. He learned the knowledge, what is inside it, and possibly memorized it. وَعَمِلَ بِهِ, and acted upon that Quran, what you learn. أُلْبِسَ وَالِدَاهُ تَاجًا مِّن نُور. His parents will be giving a crown from nur, from light. ضَوْءُهُ مِثْلُ ضَوْءِ الشَّمْسِ. The light of that crown is light. The power of that light is same, equal the light of the sun. The ulama, the commentator said, the hadith is as it is. You should not explain it in a different way. It should be a real light, and the light is very powerful, the same power as the sun. Some other scholars, they said, no, the meaning of this hadith, that he will be, and the parents will be giving a crown and will be putting on their head, that it means the happiness in this dunya and the hereafter. And the power of the light of the sun that will be giving, that is how big is the happiness that the parents will be giving. And he said, وَيُكْسَى وَالِدَاهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ حُلَّتَيْنِ. And his parents, يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, will be giving two dresses. A hulla means a top and bottom. Two of them. حُلَّتَيْنِ لَا تَقُومُ بِهِمَا الدُّنْيَا. There is nothing like that in this dunya. يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, they will say, the two parents, Bima ulbisna hada, bima kusina hada. Why we are giving all of this? Why we have been treating it like that way? What did we do? We know our actions. We didn't do much. It will be said to them, بِأَخْذِ وَلَدِكُمَ الْقُرْآنِ. The way and the reason for all this treatment, because what you did with your children, you took them to madrasa, you took them into a Quranic school, you took them into a teacher to teach them the Quran. And because of that, your child learn all of this, we are rewarding you for that. Is not that something makes you really excited? Is that not something that makes you really, tomorrow I'm going to send my child to a madrasa, I'm going to find a teacher, I'm going to find a school, I'm going to do something for my children. My dear brothers and sisters, teaching children the Quran, our scholars, Ibn Taymiyyah, Imam al-Suyuti, Ibn Khaldun, whether he's a faqih, whether a scholar of aqidah, whether a scholar of history, all the ulama said it is asl min usul al-Islam. One of the main principles in Islam, teaching children the Quran. Sending them to madrasas where they can learn the Quran. It is a responsibility of every father, every mother to do that. The parents, those who are looking after children, is their responsibility to do that. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, كُلُّكُمْ رَاعٍ وَكُلُّكُمْ مَسْئُولٌ عَنْ رَعِيَّتِهِ. Everyone is a ra'in. You have a responsibility and you'll be questioned about that responsibility. My dear brothers and sisters, my dear fathers and mothers, have you fulfilled your duty? Have you really sent your children at the age, younger age? But when they get old, it's different. We're talking about children. Have you sent them into madrasa? Have you sent them and a teacher to learn the Quran? Or you really cared about 11 plus? Let me tell you this story. Although the story has no chain, and Allah knows about the authenticity of this story, but mentioned by the historians. Very famously mentioned by the historians. They said that during the time of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when he was a Khalifa, a man, a father, came to him complaining about the son, his son. He's complaining about why his son is not listening to him, why the son is not really fulfilling the duties as a son. I'm complaining to the Khalifat al-Muslimin, to Amir al-Mu'mineen. So the Khalifat al-Mu'mineen, Umar ibn al-Khattab, called that son. Come, let's judge you. Let's listen to what your dad said about you. And the son, he listened carefully to everything that Umar ibn al-Khattab said to him. And then after that, the son said to Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, أَوَلَيْسَ هُنَاكَ حُقُوقٌ عَلَى الْوَالِدِ. Is not there any rights upon the father towards his children? He said, yes, Bala. He said, what are they? Tell me, what are these rights? My rights upon my father, what my father should do for me. He said, first, he should select the right wife. So it means that your mother should be selected in a good way by the father before even he was born. Your father should marry to a good mother. When she gives birth to a good child. That's one. Two, he said, and yuhsin ismahu. That when he gives you a name, he gives you a good name. We get affected with the names that we are giving to us. You give to your child a beautiful name, a name of a prophet, a name of a sahabi, a name that will be good. The child will have something to look up to it. Three, and yu'allimahu al-Qur'an. To teach him the Qur'an. So, O Khalifat al-Muslimin, he said, my father, he did not do anything of this. My mother was selected, she was a slave to a Majusi person. My father gave me a name of Ju'al, which means beetle, an insect. My father did not teach me the Quran. I learned the Quran when I am older now. And the father, Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, you came here to me to complain about your son, about your reality your son is complaining about you. You made bad things towards your son before you are saying that your son, he did bad things towards you. So my dear brothers and sisters, the situation of our community, the situation of our Muslims, the fathers and mothers, I can divide it to three. There are three types. Amongst us, those who did not send their children to a madrasa, did not care about this responsibility. They did not teach their children the Quran. And the child grown up possibly, or the child is still young and the parents are not caring about that. Whether they are caring about their education, about 11 plus or not, that's something different. You need to seek Allah's forgiveness. You need to say, Astaghfirullah, one thing, and I have a kafara for you. I can invent a kafara for you for this action. One, if it's still not too late, send your child to a madrasa. Two, if your child already grown up, then sponsor a child, any child who cannot pay for this. Find someone that you wants to learn and the parents cannot send them to school and pay for this child. And may Allah forgive you. Second type of the parents or some fathers and the mothers, they send their children to school only when there is time. So means fulfilling the time only. As we say in Arabic, if there is a faragh. I don't have time, I'm not going to school. So it's not a priority. Quran is not a priority. Only if there is time. I have a club, I have a club, I have a club. So many clubs that I have them to attend in the day. A child who needs to enjoy, the child that you need to put the Quran inside the mind, inside the heart, you are putting other stuff. The first thing, the ulama in fiqh, go and read the books of fiqh. The first thing that you need to put in the child's mind, La ilaha illallah, the Surah Al-Fatiha, the Quls, you give him the teaching, the Quran. So this child will be better in the future. And you are involving your child in so many clubs. Although the child is very tiny. You're saying, oh, mashallah, has got skills. Oh, mashallah, he's talented. Oh, mashallah, is this. But what about the Quran? وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. You are created for this. You created to please your Lord. Don't make the Quran as last priority. Make the Quran first priority. That is my first priority. After that, I'm going into other club and going to the other clubs. Third types of people who fulfilled all the duties and they send their children to a madrasas and their children are learning and they see the blessings in their homes. They see how the children are very blessed, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless everyone. My dear brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Al-malu wal-banun zinatul hayatid dunya. Wealth and children are the beauty of this life. What about if you're making the beauty, that of this life, even more better, more greater, more huge and big, by sending your child to a madrasa, by sending your child to a teacher of Quran can learn the Quran. You're not just having a beauty, having a double beauty, a greater beauty. When as you want to increase your money, and I seek refuge in Allah to protect you and protect me and protect all of us of being amongst those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about them, وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا أَمْوَالُكُمْ وَأَوْلَادُكُمْ فِتْنَةً. Be aware that your wealth can be fitna. Be aware that your children can be a fitna. How my child can be a fitna? When I look to my child, he cries, I can't go to madrasa, oh, this is tiring, I came from school, I this and that. That tiring and that mercy that you have it in your heart will make you cry later on. Will make you regret that moment that when you did not send your child to madrasa. You need to find a way that to convince your child that tiredness will go away. We're pleasing our Lord. So many stories that we heard from our teachers. When we used to cry, look into yourself. You used to cry before, but now you are really happy. Happy of the surah, short surah that you memorize. It can be a fitna, but really you have to fight that fitna. And remember the saying of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la takhunu Allah war rasula wa takhunu amanatikum. Don't betray the amana that was given to you. You have to look after this amana. My dear brothers and sisters, listen to this. A number of ahadith that I collected for you to listen to them. They are all gifts from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All encouragement for us to learn and to know the importance of this book, the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how we should encourage our children to go into this. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Inna Allah yarfa'u bihadha al-kitab aqwaman. Allah will raise from this book, the reason of reading this book, Allah will make some people to be raised up, to be up higher states. And your child, if goes and reads the Quran with the teacher, with the madrasa, your child will be amongst those people, or their states will be higher and higher and higher. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Man yuridillahu bi khayran yufaqqihhu fi ad-din." Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if he wants a khayr, a good for someone, will make him to learn the deen. And is there any better than learning the Quran, the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from this deen? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Inna lillahi ahlina minan nas. Allah has people, family amongst the people. Wa inna ahlallahi wa khassatihi ahlul Quran. The people of Quran, those who are reading Quran, they are the people of Allah. Your child will be amongst those people if he goes and reads Quran. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Khayrukum man ta'allama al-Qur'ana wa 'allama." In another narration, he said, "Afdalukum," the best amongst you are those who are learning the Quran and teaching the Quran. Imagine your child yourself will be amongst those people who are the best, amongst the best in the community. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Man qara'a harfan min kitabillah." Anyone reads a harf, a letter from the book of Allah, will have a hasana. Wal hasanatu bi ashri amthaliha. And the hasana will be doubled to 10 times. Imagine your child every day comes back with a number of hasanat. Hasanat and hasanat. Why? Because he reads Quran. أقول ما تسمعون وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على نبيه محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. My dear brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ya Yahya, the son of Zakaria, Ya Yahya, خذ الكتاب بقوة وآتيناه الحكم صبيا. Now why this ayah is involved in here? Oh Yahya, خذ الكتاب بقوة, take the book. Yahya, the son of Zakaria, the Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, son of a Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. خذ الكتاب بقوة, take the book. Which book? At-Tawrat, the book of Musa. Take it with seriously. Take it with effort. Take it with an ijtihad. Make the effort to learn and to memorize and to know what is in the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. خذ الكتاب بقوة. You have to be serious. It's not a joking matter. It's not something that you have to take it with casually or whenever you want it, or there is a time for that. خذ الكتاب بقوة وآتيناه الحكم صبيا. As a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as a reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that, آتيناه الحكم, we gifted him the aql, we gifted him the wisdom, we gifted him the knowledge, we gifted him the hukum, the knowledge, صبيا, while he was a child. Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, the greatest scholars among the Sahaba in explaining the Quran, he said, من قرأ القرآن قبل أن يحتلم فقد دخل في قوله تعالى وآتيناه الحكم صبيا. Any child read the Quran before becoming a baligh, it will be included amongst those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَآتَيْنَاهُ الْحُكْمَ صَبِيًّا. You read the Quran, you learned it while you are a child before the bulugh. Allah, you're having a reason for Allah to gift you with knowledge, with aql, with a wisdom, with brain. You will be better than the others. My dear brothers and sisters, your masjid, this blessed place, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless everyone who attends this masjid in the normal salawat and on Fridays. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless everyone who was a reason for establishing this masjid. They have a madrasa in here and they're opening their doors for you children. If you are local, bring your child to our madrasa. Bring your child to learn some Quran in this and you will not regret it, inshallah ta'ala. My dear brothers and sisters, many people thought or thinking that I can read the Quran without a teacher. I can learn how to read read the Quran without a teacher. That is a wrong theory. That's a wrong one. You can learn a language, you can learn any other knowledge by self-study. Quran, you have to have a teacher. Rasulullah subhanahu wa ta'ala said the Quran to Jibreel. Jibreel alayhi salam, he read the Quran to Muhammad. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam read the Quran to the companions, Abdullah bin Mas'ud, and the rest of the companions, Abdullah bin Mas'ud, Ubay bin Ka'b, and the great companions read the Quran to their students, and goes like that until today. The Quran has to be read to a sheikh, from a student to a sheikh, and goes like that with the lineage until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That you need to send your child to a teacher, you need to send your child to someone who knows how to read the Quran. Mujahid bin Jabr, rahimahullah, one of the greatest tabi'een, the greatest amongst the tabi'een. He is the greatest of the qurra of the Quran. He is one of the greatest of Ibn Mas'ud's students. He said, I read, and he's a great imam. Listen to this. He said, I read the Quran to my teacher. Who's that? Abdullah bin Abbas. Guess how many times? 30 times. 30. 30 times. Not once or two, three. I have enough. I read it one khatam to my teacher. I don't need to make a second khatam. 30 times. He said, in 2 times, 1 or 2 times of my khatam, I used to stop him and ask him for every ayah, its meaning, and in what was the reason for revealing that ayah. My dear brothers and sisters, I just ended with this. The best way of learning and teaching your child for this, and the way how it's done, having the ikhlas. First, having the sincerity that when you send your child to learn the Quran, when you want to learn Quran, you need to have that ikhlas. Secondly, you need to find the right teacher. Thirdly, your child will learn the letters, the Arabic letters, how to articulate them, the way, the articulation points, and that is the most important way, because that's how Rasulullah ﷺ taught his companions, and that's how you should articulate the letters in Arabic. And then after that, you learn the vowels of the Arabic are very important. You have the Fatha, Damman, Kasra. You have to know and to learn how to say these vowels and the length of these vowels. And this is, finally, you end it with the very basic rules of tajweed. To learn to teach your child. All of that, my dear brothers and sisters, are covered in a book called Qaida book. And you know, all of you as a parents, you know what is a Qaida book means. After that, your child will be recommended to read the Quran from the beginning until the end with the first khatam to a teacher, and that is to make the tongue easy to pronounce and to read the ayah. And it's highly recommended for your child to read a second khatam with the teacher to make him able to know more about the rules of tajweed. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم اهدنا واهد بنا، اللهم اصلحنا واصلح بنا، اللهم اجعلنا هادين مهتدين صالحين مصلحين يا رب العالمين. اللهم فرج هم المهمومين ونفس الكرب عن المكروبين، واقض الدين عن المدينين، واشف مرضانا ومرضى جميع المسلمين. اللهم اشف مرضانا، اللهم اشفهم، اللهم يا رب العالمين اشفهم. اللهم رب الناس اشفي، أنت الشافي، لا شفاء إلا شفاءك، شفاء لا يغادر سقما. اللهم كن لإخواننا في فلسطين يا رب العالمين وفي كل بلاد المسلمين. اللهم كن لهم ومعهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم احفظهم بحفظك واكلاهم برعايتك يا رب العالمين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. أقم الصلاة.